Hello, hello, hello. This is the Longhorn Confidential for Tuesday, October 7th. I'm Danny Davis, the Austin American-Statesman, joined as always, Cedric Golden, Thomas Jones, David Eckert. We're speaking to y'all a couple days after Texas went down to Gainesville, got beaten 29 to 21 in the swamp, a loss that dropped them out of the AP poll, first time since 2022. We're also speaking to y'all a couple days before we all head to Dallas for the Red River Rivalry, Texas OU. Y'all know what it is. But before we go forward, let's stay in the past a little bit. Let's head backwards a couple days.
Don't make us. Don't make us.
We have to do it. That's what the people are here for. People are here to be angry and upset. So let's give the people what they want. Let's start off with a hot take. Seth, we'll go with you. After that 29-21 loss to Florida, obviously Texas's season's a little bit in disarray, but let's do our ESPN first take segment. Is it over for the Horns? Can Texas
Don't be
recover from
so
this?
disrespectful, Daniel. Here's what I'm gonna say. I don't know if my hairline is good enough to even pull that off. Um, this is a crossroads game, and what I saw was a lack of fight from Texas. Oh, they tried, but I didn't see that desperation. I just think they went in there thinking that they could win that game with their ranking, and they found out in a hurry that Florida may have been 1-3, but Florida's still an SEC program with SEC athletes, and those athletes showed up, and they knew they had to win that game, not only to save Billy Napier's neck for maybe a couple of more weeks, but also to not just be a total laughing stock in the conference. That's a very proud football program. So for me, I just thought that Texas went in there, uh, did not go in there looking like a desperate team that's looking to get past that CFP semifinal hump, and then they found out in a hurry that it's going to take more than that than what you did last year to get wins in 2025. Very disappointing performance, and Sarkisian should be very concerned going in OU.
Eck, what are your thoughts? Is it over for the Horns?
I don't know if it's over, but it's on its last legs, you know. It's like I don't know, it's like your old trusty car that you used in high school and college that's got like 230,000 miles on it, and if it doesn't get some repairs real soon, you're gonna have to head to the car dealership. Like they got some stuff to figure out, man. Just the way that that defense played was astonishing to me. Like I did not have them getting moved around at the line of scrimmage that way anywhere near my range of outcomes this season. And so I mean if you're asking yourself what did they do well in that game and really what have they done well as a team this season, I mean it's a short list. So if your goal is to be one of the best teams in college football to win a national championship, I mean there is some serious distance that you've got to cover between now and then.
EJ?
I mean, it's technically not over. I mean, didn't you all hear Michael Taft talking about they're getting ready to go on a crazy run Monday? Could they win out, and get if they win out, they'll be in the CFP. Is there any way this team could win out the way it's playing right now? I just don't see it. It's, as Ekin said, referenced their line play, both sides, offensive and defensive lines. It's just not great. And it's just that's something that can't be fixed. I don't know how much it can be fixed in season. I think those positions you almost have to overhaul it in the off season. You got to get more depth, more front end, high end players. Ooh, it's gonna be tough. I think Florida's better than they're way better than the record. I still think Florida's one of the four best teams in the SEC. I really think that by the end of the
Easy,
year.
Tiger. Easy, Tiger.
Um,
Easy. But keep going.
I think so, but I just don't see how Texas can get through the SEC without another blemish with that line play.
I mean, the math says it's not over. Texas wins out, they get to the SEC championship game, and the runner-up is getting into the college football playoff. I don't care what your record is, but I just don't. It's going to be tough. I mean, are they going to win at Georgia? Are they going to beat Oklahoma this week? Are they going to? We just sat here last week and kind of talked about all the tough games on Texas's schedule, and Florida was not one of them. We all talked about Vanderbilt. We all talked about A&M. We all talked about obviously Georgia and Oklahoma. Can Texas run the slate with the way it's playing now? I mean, This offensive line is not going to fix itself in the next couple of weeks. This running game is not magically going to get better. Maybe CJ Baxter is the missing ingredient, and once he gets back, everything goes back to normal. But I don't know if that's the case. I mean, this defense has been the bedrock of its team, and Eck just kind of laid out all the problems that this defense has been having. So, can Texas fix these things? I mean, in a perfect world, sure. I'm just not overly optimistic about it. I think, to peek behind the curtain, one thing a lot of fans don't know is if you go to the press box on any given Saturday in DKR, there's all these reps for bowl games. And sometimes when Texas was good, you're kind of wondering, why is the Gator Bowl rep here? Why is the Liberty Bowl rep here? And those guys walk around, they shake some hands, give out some flyers, and talk up their bowls to the media people. And that may just be Texas's life. I mean, we may be looking at a world where instead of the Sugar Bowl or some of the nice little fun things we've gotten to do over the last couple of years, Texas fans and the media are kind of prepping to go to the Gator Bowl or the Liberty Bowl or the Music City Bowl. Maybe cross your fingers and get the Las Vegas Bowl if you're Cedric Golden, and hope that you don't get the Texas Bowl for the rest of us because that's just Houston. But that just may be Texas's future because I just don't see 6, 7 wins in a row coming from this team unless they figure out a way to magically get a lot of these problems fixed. And I'm not overly optimistic that happens. But, it's a possibility. And first step to that is Oklahoma this week. Surprisingly, despite all of Texas's problems, despite Oklahoma having a really good season, ranked number 6 nationally, Texas is actually the favorites in Dallas. 2.5 points last time I checked, which may be surprising to some folks. Since I just mentioned Las Vegas, we'll start with you since you're the gambling man. Does Texas deserve to be favored in this game? Does that surprise you? Is that line shocking? Does Vegas know something we don't know?
Vegas always knows something, Daniel. Vegas always knows something. And they know that I go there every year to lose money. But um, I think they're going with the quarterback play. And, it's a neutral site. And usually when it's a home game or a legitimate home game, the home team's going to get 3 points. And then they go from there. But I think they think that, or not, and I agree with them that Arch Manning is better than Michael Hawkins, and I don't think John Mateer is going to play in this game. I don't. It would be reckless for him to play in this game, given where OU is right now. OU's got a chance to be a CFP team, but not without John Mateer. They could lose this game and still make the CFP. So I don't think he'll play, and I think that they're giving Arch Manning. Let me Arch Manning sacked up in this last game in the second half and played his butt off. He did. And he did it under duress. He did it under heavy fire. And he took a beating. He took a beating. There are Timex watches out there that were like, man, stay down, Arch, stay down. He took a licking and he kept on ticking. But you shouldn't have to do that to prove yourself. So for me, is that a time that looks like a Rolex, Thomas? Said no one ever. But if you're going to do that, you're not going to last the season. So I think Texas deserves to be. They get the benefit of the doubt on the neutral site. They beat them 34-3 last year, and if John Mateer's not playing, I'm picking Texas to win the game.
Yeah, I think under Steve Sarkisian, Texas is kind of been the dominant team in this rivalry, even though it's split 2-2. I mean, those two games, either Texas dominated 49-0 or 34-3 in 2022 or 2024, or Texas has simply choked. They had that huge lead in Steve's first year, and then they had that loss where they lost in the last seconds in 2023. So I think Texas has played better in this series under Steve than Oklahoma has done under Brent Venables, and the quarterback situation is just too much to ignore. He with John Mateer, I still think Texas has an edge at quarterback, but with Michael Hawkins, who played very poorly last year, I know he's a year older and a year better. I just think Texas, I'm not surprised that Texas is favored. Am I going to actually pick Texas? I'm probably going back and forth. I've changed my mind about 16 times. Probably picking Texas, but we'll find out. But I can see why they're favored. Actually, you tend to be the most skeptical of us. So when it comes to the Longhorn pick'em line, were you surprised when you saw this line?
No, I wasn't surprised just because Michael Hawkins is all over that line. Like if the question is whether Texas deserves to be favored, no, the answer is no. But should they be favored if Michael Hawkins is going to play? Yeah, they haven't done anything to earn it, but it's just, hey, Oklahoma, there's a strong chance that they're going to come into this game with a backup quarterback who played really poorly against Texas last year. I didn't watch them play against Kent State, but some smart people I trust online had some negative things to say about the way that he played in that game. So I don't know. Look, I mean, if you're asking me who I think the better football team is, I'm going with Oklahoma by, in order of magnitude. But you got to have a quarterback, and I don't know if I trust Michael Hawkins to get it done for the Sooners if John Mateer can't go.
DJ,
There
which
is
one
no way Texas should be favored in this game. No way. I'll give you if Hawkins plays and Mateer doesn't, and I agree with all y'all. I think Hawkins will probably start. I'll give you Arch is probably better than Hawkins. I'll give you that. OU is playing better at literally every other unit on both sides of the ball and at special teams. I think OU right now has the edge. Offensive line, receivers, running backs, defensive line, linebackers, secondary, special teams. I think OU's really good. Now, Arch played well. Hawkins, yeah, it's a backup quarterback. I still I think OU should be favored. I think OU, I'll have my prediction later, but I think OU should probably ease to a win. So yeah, I'm
Ooh,
stunned. I'm
ooh,
stunned Texas was favored. But
nice.
That Longhorn money is for real.
You
I
think
mean,
Vegas is making that line sex nice and juicy for some of that Texas sucker money to come in, TJ?
Absolutely. You know that's the case.
You think Vegas would do something like that? That
They would
underdog.
never set a trap. They never
Vegas
set a
would never
trap.
do that. Not the
No.
So they
people I
chase the
know
money.
out there. Come on, Thomas. Where's your faith in humanity?
I mean, I don't know if I necessarily agree with all that stuff. It's a little something to say they're playing better in every area. I mean, they've also played, like Texas, a bunch of non-conference pushovers, Michigan, and then Auburn. And Auburn is better than Florida, which Thomas has said is one of the four best teams in the conference. So,
We'll see. We'll see.
I don't know. Or Florida's better than Auburn. We'll see. I would not say it's a definitive thing. I think it's probably a little questionable, but I would not say it's absolutely crazy that this is happening. But as we do at this point of the podcast, let's do a little bit of our scouting report. What's one thing we've learned about the Sooners as we start doing our prep work? TJ, since you're such a Sooner bandwagon jumper, and you think they're the greatest team since sliced bread, we'll start with you.
Well, they don't have to be the greatest thing to win Saturday, but okay. Florida entered that game against Texas with 3 sacks on the year. They sacked Arch 6 times. Okay. You know how many sacks OU has this year? 21. Leads the SEC. They have 21 sacks right now, and they got to be looking at that Texas O line just licking their chops, man. Jaden Jackson, Taylor Wine, these guys are elite pass rushers. And unless Texas can really, in 1 week, solve all of their pass protection issues, those guys are going to have the field day. I think Brett Venable's scheme, they're really going to have a field day against this Texas offensive front. I think Arch is going to be under duress all game. I think he'll play well like he did against Florida, but I think he'll be running for his life half the time.
Do you believe that 21 sacks is tied for second nationally in total sacks, and average wise, it's tied with Tennessee for the national lead? So obviously that is a problem for Texas coming off their performance last week. I said, what's your one thing you've learned about the Sooners?
That their defense is way better than it was last year, and they were, they took a step up from 2023 to 2024. Um, Todd Bates and Jay Valai are the co-defensive coordinators. Jay Valai was a cornerbacks coach at Texas a couple of years ago, and those guys that Thomas mentioned are have combined for 6.5 sacks. Look out for R. Mason Thomas on the edge. That's going to be a problem. They're going to have to put a bag of Doritos in his neighborhood, lots of chips, lots of chip blocks, because if they don't chip R. Mason, he's going to be Lawrence Taylor on Saturday. And so what Texas is going to have to do is figure out if OU sacks Arch 3 times, Texas can still win. But if they sack him 6 or 7 times, he may not make it to the fourth quarter. And no one on this call on this podcast is questioning Arch's toughness after what we
Oh,
witnessed in Gainesville. Tough guy, but it doesn't take a tough guy to get his brains beat out. So they're going to have to figure out how to, if you run the football, if you run for more than 15 yards, maybe just maybe those DNs can pin their ears back and bring holy hell to your offensive backfield. It all goes together. But OU is a quality defense. This is not a 34-3 type game. I think if Texas figures out a little bit up front and can run the ball, and I don't expect CJ Baxter back. I really don't. I don't think he'll play in this game.
Those
It's gonna
hamstrings linger.
and I really, yeah, it's soft tissue, and I really think that Sark's going to have to trust one of these kids to carry the ball a little bit in this game. It can't be all on Trey Wisner, who just came back.
Actually, in this series, Texas last failed to have a 100-yard rush in 2019. So, Contravian Wisner, Christian Clark, that group is going to need to step it up in Dallas. Eck, what is your one thing that you've learned so far about the Sooners?
Might have to be Arch, Danny. Arch might be your best bet. But yeah, I mean,
Sam Ellinger hit it in 2020, so Art can definitely hit that.
Um, yeah, I was surprised statistically at how difficult it's been for Oklahoma to run the ball. They're under 4 yards a carry. They are not using Jaden Ott really at all. He's a stud at Cal last year. They brought him in at running back, and he's got like 20 carries, most of them in garbage time. So he's not getting the ball. So if you're Texas, all right, like, can you fix what happened against Florida? Because Florida was not this elite rushing offense either, coming in and they just kind of moved you at will along the front. So, can Texas get that fixed? Because if you could, especially if Michael Hawkins plays, if you can make that offense one dimensional, you put yourself in a really strong position, just to be able to go after him and make him uncomfortable, which they did all game last year. So, yeah, we'll see what the Texas run defense looks like.
I have two quick names to know. First is linebacker Kobe McKenzie. Texas fans may remember him if you are into recruiting, but during the 2022 cycle, he committed to Oklahoma, decommitted, committed to Texas, decommitted, signed with Oklahoma. And I remember when that was whole happening, that was a lot of fodder online. Fans thinking they had him, then all of a sudden they didn't. Then all of a sudden you love him, then you hate him, and that was kind of a interesting little cycle during the 2022 cycle. But he ranks fifth among the Sooners. Tackles the season, has a team high 3 quarterback hurries, so he's definitely getting some playing time. Kind of had a slow start to his college career, but he's really come on this year. Steve referenced him during Monday as one of those guys who've kind of come on now that they've been in Brent Venables' system for a while. And then second name is Isaiah Sategna. Sategna, the receiver, leads them in all receiving categories. He's actually the son of former Texas track coach Mario Sategna, who was actually fired in February 2018. Then went on to Arkansas, is now currently at Texas A&M. So maybe Isaiah is going to do some family revenge against the Longhorns, but he's a guy, lists Austin as his hometown. We learned on Monday he played Pop Warner ball with Michael Taft in the Westlake area. So, some of those guys on the team, those Westlake boys are probably familiar with Isaiah, but keep an eye on Kobe, keep an eye on Isaiah. They both kind of have some loose ties to Texas. I'm sure they've had this circled on their calendar, as most Sooners do. Said.
Really keep an eye on Isaiah because he cheated a couple of weeks ago, pretended he was hurt over on the sideline and scored a touchdown.
You literally got to keep an eye on them.
And that's in that play was in the playbook. And so
Yeah,
those tricky Sooners, those tricky Sooners.
that's what Hugh Freeze is
Beware,
saying.
Texas. Those Sooners are tricky.
That's another area where, going back to TJ's comment, Oklahoma's obviously a lot better at Texas. They're better at cheating too. So, gotta
Wow. Wow.
watch out for those that trickery. Texas overthrows its trick passes. Oklahoma does find it being deceptive on the field. Um, Fairgrounds, it's a question we answer every year, and I'm going to look forward to answering this question this year as I get ready for hating my mentions for saying the Sooners cheat. But Eck, you were new to this rivalry last year. You got your first fairground experience. What's one thing you're looking forward to eating on the fairgrounds this weekend?
I did the corny dog last year, was strong.
Corn dog. Go
Wait,
ahead.
wait, wait, wait. What did I
I
said
call
corny
it
dog.
corny dog.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Corny
yeah,
dog.
yeah.
Stop it, Thomas.
Horny
Let
dog.
that kid cook. Go ahead,
Hey,
Ed.
hey, hey, hey. You can't be doing this to me. I don't know it well enough for
Corny
any.
dog is fine, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna try the turkey leg this year. And I'm a big fried Oreos guy. So I'm gonna get me some fried Oreos as well.
Easy. You were a fat kid growing up. We're not going
That's
back
true.
there.
That's
We're not going back there.
true. I might skip lunch.
PJ, you want to indulge us with your elitist corn
Well,
dog opinion, or
well,
what are
okay.
you eating?
When we were talking about preparing for this for the podcast, excuse me, I looked at OU's defensive line, and then I was like, all right, that's enough. Let's get to the real research, and that's the various fried things all across the state fair. And I found this thing called a Vietnamese crunch roll that I'm gonna track down. I'm gonna eat it. I might eat two of them. It's basically a mixture between a corn dog and a banh mi Vietnamese sandwich with little pickled veggies in there, deep fried, some of that Vietnamese sauce. That's what I'm going to find. I'm going to
Where's
eat
the
it.
meat? Where's the meat? What kind of meat?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Figure it out.
Vietnamese food, man. You don't want to ask too. Nah, I'll stop there. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Whoa.
You're gonna get us canceled, fam.
The
Between the
opi
cheating Sooners and the
the opinions of Thomas Jones and Danny Davis do not
Yeah,
necessarily reflect the
yeah.
opinions of the Austin American Statesman.
Keep me and David out of that. Keep me and David out of
Distancing
that.
myself.
I've been
Okay.
good today. I've been good today. I'm not trying to get fired.
Said you're a state fair veteran. What are you looking forward to this weekend?
I'm a old school. I'm old school. I do it the same way every year. I'm gonna go get me a Fletcher's corny dog, and then I'm gonna mosey down and get me one of those turkey legs, and then I'm gonna get me some Floyd's catfish. Those are the three. The turkey legs are to go. I'll take those with me because Bev insists on getting a turkey leg every year. But I'm gonna eat on the grounds a corny dog and some Floyd's catfish. That's how I roll. And I just might mix in an adult beverage. If you see me with an adult beverage, don't judge. Just come up and say hi, and we'll toast.
Yes, Miss Bev's getting a turkey leg. I'm sure Miss Chastity's gonna get a funnel cake for me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Afterwards, I'll definitely get a corny dog slathered with ketchup because that's how we do things over here. And then we'll also go adult beverage. I was looking at the list of like new things on the state fairgrounds, and I'll probably try it. There was like a fried calzone, which kind of looked a little interesting. There's a fried, it was like a jalapeno cheesecake popper that kind of looked interesting, but nothing was, jumping out the page. So I may just go corny dog, but I, may have a couple extra minutes. So I'll wander around the fairgrounds, try something new. But that's what kind of stood out to me. But I'm definitely looking forward to my ketchup and corny dog. I'm gonna send a picture to my friend MK, who is a mustard mustard believer and hates whenever I post something on my Instagram feed about ketchup. But that's just how we do things over here. I feel that's the right way. Trevor Gooseby agreed with me on Monday,
Thank
so I
you.
feel that I'm in
Yes, we
good
did.
company. If one of the big linemen likes it with ketchup, I'll be willing to go with ketchup as well.
Surely there's a fried stroke available at the fairgrounds.
I'm
Something tells me
surprised.
that might be happening. Yeah.
Those
Come on.
medics are on call on the fairgrounds, but that is going to do it for us. As always, we appreciate you paying attention to this podcast. We have lots of teases to get through, so I'm going to go through them all. Statesman.com throughout the week and on game day for all of our content. We have newsletters now. I heard said promoting his newsletter on his post game videos. So I figured I should probably do that too. But we have a Hook'em newsletter that goes every day. We have Sets Corner, which goes every Tuesday. So be sure to find those on statesman.com and sign up for those. We'll be here later in the week with another Longhorn Confidential with Oklahoman beat writer Colton Sully. He'll give us more of a in-depth look at the Longhorns. We have another Oklahoman writer, I believe, jumping on Sed and Kirk's podcast this week. Sed, do you want to tell us who's coming on second thought this week?
We've got a tag team. We're getting the band back together. Jenny Carlson of the Oklahoman and Barry Trammell, formerly of the Oklahoman, now of the Tulsa World. We're gonna get together on Thursday and chop it up. And we try to do that every year. Those are some great people that know Sooner football inside and out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Once again, this is a 2:30 kick on Saturday. ABC if you're watching at home, but if you're on the fairgrounds, you see us in line for a corner dog, be sure to say hello. We appreciate y'all watching this on station.com or on YouTube or listening to us wherever you get your podcast. We will see you at the Cotton Bowl on Saturday. Deuces.